Hello and welcome back. We're here to watch pole vault, so let's watch pole vault. I actually found the vault folder this time. It's actually quite a good first jump. So I was going into this next meet in 2 weeks, and I was planning to compete from 6 lefts, kind of build my way back up. My knee really stung after that Baylor meet. I actually blew through. I actually was jumping quite good right away, right off the bat at this practice. That one I kind of blocked. You can kind of see, instead of really jumping and getting like underneath my hands, like I want to almost like put pressure up through the pole, kind of just hit me. I kind of blocked out with the left hand instead, so it kind of just gave me a little bit of a weird pole bend, and then I just stopped. Like the pole didn't roll over at all; it just stopped in the middle of the jump. I just need to keep more forward momentum and actually drive myself into the pit. It's kind of the same issue. That's 15'1". I'm jumping on the 15'6", 2'7", kind of my warm-up pole. And now this is 16'1". I'm going for... I mean, this is a definite improvement. Again, I really stung my knee. So I was jumping on the 165 last time, that 15-foot 165, which is pretty much the smallest pole that I'm able to jump on. And so to be able to get onto this 15.6 is actually quite an improvement. And I was actually getting better throughout this practice as well. See, I was kind of getting more confident on my leg, but you can see how much better of a jump this is compared to like the other one where I kind of blocked out a bit. I'm actually able to put pressure up and into the pole and then really get it to roll over. Yeah, that was quite a very nice jump. I'm able to roll over the pole a lot better. I've never cleared 16'1" with this pole before. This is 490. I cleared 490 with the bigger pole. The 3.5 is the flex number. Well, I guess it's kind of, I feel like a lot of different poles have different ways that they do the flex numbers, but the way this line works is kind of that, like 0 is like the lightest, and then it goes up. The heaviest I've ever jumped on was a 7.2. So 7.2 is like jumping 550. And this pole is a 2.7 15'6". I don't quite understand how it works, but I just know that it's a 15'6", 175 pound pole, for reference. And there's one that I jumped on last year that's a good deal stiffer. The last one wasn't quite as good. I think I ended on a good one. Yeah, I ended on a very good one. You can kind of see kind of where I'm going with the plant, is what I want is to be able to have a great jump and be putting that pressure onto it, and then being able to get out. Like, you can see how much more powerful the swing can be when I have a good plant like that. I can just really crank on the pole much better when I have that kind of plant. So and then we went to Texas A&M this week. I came in at 5:04. Now, as I said, I was planning to compete at 6 at this meet. Well, everything went wrong at this meet. I was planning to compete at 6 at this meet. Well, first, let me tell you about how the meet started. Is I showed up to the meet. I ran into a predicament with the officials over my spikes. Apparently, I didn't have the right spikes. They required 1/4-inch pyramid spikes, and I had my Nike spikes, and I knew that they're pyramid spikes, and so I thought I'd be fine. But I brought the bag of smaller spikes just in case, but I didn't have time to put them on because our coach got us like these smaller 1/4-inch pyramid spikes. I was competing at 12:20, or I got there. I was leaving to the track at 12:20, and we only just got those spikes at 12, and so I picked them up. I didn't quite have time, or I wasn't thinking about it at the time, to actually put them in my shoes, and I didn't think I need to because I had pyramid spikes, and they were just conventional Nike spikes. But apparently you can't wear conventional Nike spikes at Texas A&M University because they have a special track in which you can only wear the 1/4-inch, slightly smaller pyramid spikes. And so naturally, I had about 20 minutes of just running back and forth, trying to get this spikes issue. Well, you have to put in the smaller spikes, but not only that, but you have to run all the way across the track to get them checked. And so I thought I had the right spikes on, the conventional Nike spikes. I got them checked. I was literally running back and forth, putting the spikes in and then going and getting them checked. And they checked us in. I only started this an hour before the event actually started. So that was the first 15 minutes of my warm-up time spent running back and forth, getting spikes. But I thought I was only competing at 6, and so I didn't need much warm-up time anyways. And these spikes were just... You put in the Nike spikes, and the Nike spikes come with a spike tool that's for the spikes. But these smaller spikes, the spike tool does not work with them. And so throughout the course of the meet, at some point or another, I lost a spike. I have no idea when, but I was jumping without a spike. And I wasn't the only one. Some of the girls that went after me also had problems with their spikes falling out, because the spike tool does not work with these smaller spikes. And they aren't even that much smaller. It's literally the difference of like an eighth of an, I don't even know, 1/16 of an inch. But Texas A&M has their special track. You can't. You can't wear conventional Nike spikes on the special track. Let's actually watch this 504 again, because oh, and this is not six lefts, is it? See, here's the other thing that went wrong. Is that I was going to compete at six lefts. I pull out my warm-up pole, the 187, 15'7", 187-pound pole. I take one jump on it. I blew through it by quite a lot. And then coach says go up to the 190. I go up to the 190. I check my bag and I see that I don't have the 190 because it's a training pole. Like I never jump on this pole in meets because I just do the one and done from six lefts and then I move back to 8. And so I don't actually have the next pole. And so I'm thinking, there's no way that I have a broken pole line from for my six lefts. And so decided to just go back to 8 lefts. My knee was actually feeling really quite good, which is why I was able to do that. But I decided just to go back to 8 lefts. Me forgetting the pole. So let's watch this first jump again. It's actually such a good jump. It's actually such a good jump. I'm jumping on the 15'7", 195 from 8 lefts, and I just completely obliterated the pole. I can't use it. It's gone. Look at how much better the plant is than it has been. I'm actually able to get that left. I'm actually able to get really good strong pressure, and then that swing just comes around so strong. Just obliterates the pole. It was a great attempt. I almost landed off the back of the mat. See, I was blowing through this pole just like this in warm-ups. And then I really should have gone up. Well, I was supposed to go up. Coach told me to go to the next pole, but then I asked, like, can I come in on this? Said depends on what we're coming in at. I said I wanted to come in at 504, which is a fairly low height comparatively. I want to come in at 504, and I want to jump on this pole, this 15'7", 195. I'm really confident and comfortable on it. But on a day that I'm feeling really good, and my technique has actually gotten better. At least on this first jump, my technique was really good. I just blow completely through it, and it's a missed bar. I can't really play it safe a whole lot, because really, ultimately, it comes down to if your jump is right for the pole. Like you can't even. It's so. It can be so difficult. Like if I was a high jumper, I could come in at a lower height, and I could have a good jump. If you have a great jump and high jump, and you're at a lower height, you still make the bar. Pole vault, if you have a great jump and you're on a small pole, you blow through and you miss the bar. So. Now this was a bad attempt. I went up to the 16'1", 190, slightly bigger. This was a bad attempt, but not terrible. I was just a bit under, but I didn't really have that pressure with my left. It was a bit. I actually recovered really well, but I didn't have my hand up ready. Standards at 70, I would have made that. That was the other thing. I was jumping at standards at 80 all day. Buried. Now, this is crazy because I have one blow through and I have one bad jump. A bad jump, not a terrible one. 2 attempts, and now I am fighting for my life. 3rd attempt at opening bar. That bar wiggled. It was a great jump. I almost blew through it and had 2 blow-throughs. Yeah, I was very close. Very close on the back end. And that pole did not get me very high at all because I blew through it. I can't play it safe like at all. Really. I mean, it was a pretty good. It was not as good as the first jump, but it was a good recovery. It was a good jump. I really can't use that 195 on a day like that anymore. Like that, the 15'7" 195. I actually can't use it. I have to be on the 16-foot ones, which, I mean, it's a pretty good problem to have. No, it's definitely a good problem to have, to need to be on the 16-foot poles. That was extremely nerve-wracking. I've been in that situation many more times than I would like. Being at the 3rd attempt of my opening bar. Many more times than I would like. I went up to the 16-foot 193 after that jump. So this is, I'm jumping on the 16-foot 193-pound pole. Biggest pole I've ever been on, 16-foot 195. So I go up, I'm jumping at 516. Pretty good jump. Take off position. I was pretty much on, maybe a little bit out. Left hand was there, not as strong as I would like. I am going crooked. Standards are at 80, and I have a little bit of a tailwind, crushing this pole. 528. Now this jump just hurt a lot. This jump hurt a lot in my knee. Very, very tough. Reason why is because I was so out. Actually, I was about as same amount out as the last one, but this one just really hurt my knee. I think that last one hurt my knee a little bit, but then this one just hurt it a lot. The second time being out. And then I do not want to be in this position right here. That's definitely a tough position. That is a tough position right there. But I recovered from it and made the bar. Looking at it now, I should have gone to the next pole. If I didn't hurt my knee, I'm sure that I would have been bumped up onto the next pole. Standards are at 80, and look at the way that the pole moves. It like wants to keep following me. So that's crazy. That's a 16-foot 193-pound pole, 2 pounds away from the heaviest pole I've ever been on. And it's behaving like that. Went to 540. And I ran through. It was questionable about whether or not I would even continue competing. I actually told my coach that I wanted to be done. And then, because my knee was just hurting so much. And I ran through on that one because my knee was hurting. And so it was like a question of whether or not I could even keep jumping, like, at all. Like, I know that, like, when I hurt my knee like that, like, I can be physically incapable of jumping for the practice afterwards. But I actually said that I was done, and then I changed my mind and decided that I wanted one more at 540. Decent attempt. Not the greatest, but it was definitely good enough for a lower bar. I think I was under, actually. I was definitely under. But I had good pressure on it, so I was able to make it work. That is an awkward position right there. Awkward position to try and swing out of. Yeah, it was just a bit awkward. Not second attempt. Dude, it was so close. The 5, like, that's actually, coach literally said that I just needed to be on the next pole for that one. That's actually nuts. Like, I blew through a 16-foot 193-pound pole. Standards at 80, jumping all day. And it was too small. I needed to be on pole as big as I was when I jumped 550. That was actually one of my better plants of the day. That would have been an actual Cinderella story. If I planned on jumping from 6 lefts and ended up jumping 540, that would have been. But there's not so many Cinderella stories. What a good freaking jump, dude. What a good jump. That plant is starting to come. Well, I missed the bar, but let's look at what we have. I had 2 good warm-up jumps. I had a good first jump. Bad. Not the worst, but still missed the bar in second attempt. Good third attempt. Made 516, 528 first attempts. One run through, I wasn't confident on my knee. Turns out that it actually wasn't. I actually could keep jumping. And then I had 1 decent attempt and 1 great attempt. I hurt my knee and then I had 1 great attempt. If I had actually made that on third attempt, it would have been insane. But hurt my knee and then I had that 1 great attempt at 540, which I actually powered through one of the biggest poles I've ever been on. 2 pounds away from being the biggest pole I've ever been on. Well, yeah, I would say it was a very good meet. I would say it's a very good meet. Because, well, actually, if you count up all the jumps I had that 1 run through and that 1 bad attempt, second attempt at opening bar. other than that, I was jumping good all day. So I would say I went 8 for 10 good jumps on the day, which is a great ratio. At least it's a lot better than I have been jumping. And I had that first attempt and my last attempt were actually great with the plant. And I had a few that weren't great jumps, but I was still able to make the bar. And that's kind of what you have to do is you kind of have to, if things are a little bit off, you have to adjust and be able to find a way to make it work on some of them. But I think that I can. What I want right now is I want to get consistent jumps. So I want to get from 8 lefts. I want to be getting my plant up consistently. And I feel like I actually got better for the first time in a very long time. Yeah, I actually think that it was a very good meet. And I made 3 bars, which 3 bars was all I've wanted to make this entire time. I'm glad that I made it now that I know. If I made 3 bars, if I jumped that same bar, the 530 in Baylor, I would have probably have started posting everything. It would have been too early. And now a good deal of time later, the story is able to get that much better. So I have a lot of failures. I really do. But I try to get something out of it each time. Every time I'm not able to show what I've been working on this entire time, but then it gets postponed, and the story gets better the longer that it waits. So it'll all be good in the end. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.